Hey there, gang. So today I want to show you a build I put together during one of my previous streams that puts a whole lot of emphasis on save the best for last and rapid brutality. The whole focus of this build is really patching up the weak spots that Clown has, both when it comes to save the best for last and rapid, in addition to just his lack of macro pressure. Sometimes Clown commits to an area of the map that has the obsession, and this is really, really bad. It is so very bad, especially when not only do you have to kind of leave this area without typically wanting to give up save the best for last stacks, but when you go find a non-obsession, they're pre-running. So one of the ways that this build complements that and like kind of gets around that weakness is we run play with your food. See, when you're saving up your save the best for last, when you're downing survivors, when you're just breaking chase using rapid to cross the map, and then you find this obsession, getting play with your food for when you then break chase to seek non-obsessions enables you to counter that pre-run to some degree because of that 5% movement speed. Now, it's not like you want to put this in priority. Again, remember, this is meant to fix the weak spots of save the best for last, right? At a macro level. Because when you leave the obsession, seek the non-obsession, not only do you counter the pre-run, you also make getting the first health state better. You're able to then turn that into rapid brutality, which keeps your same tempo. It's not like you're losing 5% movement speed from what you had when you got the first health state. You have 10 seconds of maintaining that tempo, which gives you plenty of time, especially with that fast recovery from save the best for last, to get the rest of your bottles going and likely down a survivor before they're able to get to an area of safety. So this is really, really good together, running all three of these perks. Now, some people might be wondering, what's the point of Jolt then, or Surge, excuse me. Surge is actually extremely important, and it wasn't until very recently that I realized how pivotal it is to this type of build. See, when one is running an off-meta build, typically these builds don't have a whole lot of instant regression, they don't have a lot of gen blocking, slowdown, and this means that typically one puts a whole lot of emphasis not just in their perk loadout, but also just in their playstyle on heavy micro pressure. You're getting in chases, you're downing survivors, you're not typically kicking as many generators because the raw kicks don't have as much value. You know that as a killer with lacking in macro that all of the other survivors are obviously going to be working on generators themselves. So interacting with generators, even though it is necessary, that is a bottom line, right? As great as it is and as nice it is to win through heavy macro, that doesn't undermine the ways that survivors had the advantage in the macro. So being able to have something which really deals with that better is so game-changing. And why is it Surge specifically and not any other perk, believe it or not? Because typically through heavy micro pressure, a killer like Clown is dispersing the survivors. Survivors are getting pushed away from an area of the map completely, especially when there's heavy snowball going on. This means that you have generators that typically are going to have lasting progress, and in order to keep that pressure, you can't kick those generators. Because when the last thing you really kind of want to do is lose a snowball because you either enable survivors to position themselves far enough away from you, get to strong enough tiles, which enables their other teammates to heal, and then once you fall behind on that health state, it becomes harder for you to then contest and pressure all four survivors simultaneously. So when one runs Surge, this allows you to have your cake and eat it too. You're able to maintain that pressure. You take save the best for last and rapid, you start building your stacks, you get your quick 2 health states. In the event you run into the obsession, you're going to take that 5% to find the non-obsession, create the pressure there. And this means that when you down survivors as a result of each and every instance, right, from gaining the stacks and the value here, you don't have to worry about kicking those generators to get the regression from the dispersion. When survivors are downed, and you start looking for your next chase, the generator is passively regressing as if you kicked it. It lost that 8% on top of that. And this is going to likely mean in some situations that those generators fully regress. So this is, in an off-meta type of build, I think this is one of the best perks you are going to run, especially if you are only going to take one generator perk. Highly consider Surge in this instance. That's not even taking into account the value it has on vertical maps like Gideon Meat Plant, Midwich, even honestly some maps with like a main building like Crotus, Father Campbell's Church in some instances. There are so many more situations where the verticality of this comes into play much more so than other perks, especially with regard to having to compromise one's lack of macro even further, having to go all the way up and kick something on a completely different floor, right? So this is really, really, really good in off-meta builds. Add-ons, not really as These are not like required. These are not mandatory. I would recommend running whatever you want. Personally, I talked about this in my add-on combo video. The best add-on combo for lethality are these two right here. Garish Makeup Kit and Flask of Bleach. This gives you some support at singular tiles, and this allows you not only to have some delayed and extended value at singular tiles, but chaining them with your yellows, springboarding, and having that those instances where survivors expect you to want to play a tile so they try to leave. Well, now you're able to chain that tile better with that extra 2 seconds. Like this is definitely the best combo. But yeah, you can even go Flask and Ether. You know, I expect there are a lot of people who are still heavy pink-centric. This add-on combo, especially with that playstyle, is probably going to play a lot better with this build than many others, you know? Still would recommend using those yellows, obviously, right? Yellows, when you are running Flask and Ether, is very, very good. It's one of the reasons on my add-on tier list that I rank this combo still very high, even in my own playstyle. But yeah, we don't need to obviously go down every add-on on the list. Y'all kind of get the point here. Man, what a beautiful song to then get sent to some shit like this. Wow, no mither. Damn. What an extra element of spice. Oh. Damn, you really countered the non-existent corrupt right there. Man, you really took out my corrupt with that strategy. Ooh, so she is a... Oh, she's actually better than me. Holy shit. She's actually better than me. Ah! Get that pallet out the way. Hot damn, I'm not gonna lie. I thought she was gonna, like, run away from the yellow that time around because she figured I'd be playing into it. Oh man, that was a mind game in of itself. She actually played that well. There are 2 ways you play that. You either run through the yellow or you run in the opposite way and assume, you know what I mean? And yeah, oh my gosh, you guys are a bunch of fucking... Yeah, I didn't expect that shit, did you, my guy? He's like, wait a second, you're not supposed to know to do the thing. He's like, wait, you're not supposed to know to do the thing. Oh, shit. Yeah, we'll get that extra 8%. I have a feeling no one's over here. I have a feeling someone's gonna be like going around there. Oh, actually, I was wrong. I am mistaken. Ooh. What is she doing constantly plot twisting? Why am I playing a palette that's non-existent? I'll take this. Remember, we are building STBFL stacks. Dude, she's just literally just like doubting herself randomly. I don't get the strategy. Wait, where the fuck? She stayed at the tile? What is this pathing? What even is her... Oh, that doesn't hit. Ah! How do you still have an exhaustion? Why does she seem a bit sus? Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Oh, there's a pallet right there. That doesn't hit? Oh, okay. I probably should have canceled the lunge earlier. She's the fucking syringe and chase, dude. That shit is so cringe, dude. Oh, man. I forgot. We're gonna run Franklin's. That's what we meant to do. That's a good reminder. That's one way we kind of view this. We view this as the reminder we're supposed to... Oh, there go my STBFL stacks. They were meant to be running Franklin's. Yeah, we're gonna be running Franklin's all fucking day today, by the way. What is even the strategy here? Good shit. I always respect her for attempting the greed. This is my favorite palette on Garden of Joy, by the way. It's my favorite. It's on the fall, and then map from against the wall. Something like that. I don't know the fucking lyrics. Damn, I don't feel like going all the way over there. What, are they gonna be in like Maine or something? Probably. No. I guess we just go back this. I mean, I don't know what else to say here, gang. Hey, thanks for the follow. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. We're gonna be running it. That's why we're just gonna be running Franklin's. Because if we run Franklin's, you can't. I don't think it's possible to use a syringe if the killer is Franklin's, by the way. So that is like one of the. Well, actually, commit to this gamer. That's like one of the genuinely really nice parts. About. Ooh, Perk. Oh, he's better than me! Unless... Take me from the fall. There we go. Only if it prevents the medkit from... Well, that's not even it, right? Like, you can't use it while healthy, right? You can't use a syringe while healthy. So you hit them to injure them. They drop the medkit. They can't use it, right? So it's actually, Franklin's is a really, really good counter. Like, it's not like a toxin, no, it's like objectively like the counter. Kind of like Lightborn is the counter to Flashbang background player. No, that's like an actual like thing, you know what I'm saying? Why am I attacking the Claude? We're not attacking the Claude, we're just getting play with your food. Right. That's, again, I am loving this play with your food synergy, even if I'm not utilizing it the most proper in my first game. Oh, we've upped you two, haven't we? You know what? I might just chase him. I mean, hey, STBFL Rapid. Yeah, look like a dead hard gamer. Yeah, or at least he actually did, but I think he didn't think that we'd swing. I don't know. DS? No DS. Oh, that's a kill, actually. Damn, do we come back because of that? You mean mine? No gen here, no gen there. We'll go check this gen over here. I'm surprised I haven't touched main. Maybe saving it for the 3 gen? Who knows? I gotta play with the food sack before I reload. That's why I haven't reloaded yet. He's actually holding corner. I am just gonna take this injury and try to go pressure other generators. Ooh, in fact, we can do this even better. I'm gonna do this even better. We're gonna get a second stack of play with food here. But she's likely gonna wanna go main. So, right? So all we gotta do. Come on. She does have a life, right? Or is it gone? Yeah, now what? And this here. Perfect. Damn, we pulling it back. Callback sex, but thank you, Frog. How's it going, by the way? This build is so fun. Yeah, it does look pretty good. Almost, you know, the play with your food really helps out a lot when you find the obsession and stuff, I feel. We'll kick this now. Now, she finished the gen right over here, so I may actually slug Claw. Ooh. Dude, you gotta love that cosmetic. That cosmetic is just so fucking easy to see. Like, honestly, as long as I just bleed out Claude, I can probably secure 4K. Oh, my back. My lungs, holy shit, I'm gonna laugh too hard. That's fucking funny. She's cute at least. Where you run with Frankie? Oh, good question. What do we want to run? Most paid in this outfit. But it looks cute, okay? It's a cute outfit. You use 2 of your main perks. What's Save and Rapid? Yeah, those are really, really good on Clown. GG Zip. especially this Fang. This Fang had really good chases, by the way. Like Fang actually played the chases at the jungle gyms very, very well. Save and play with your food. Yeah, I really like the synergy between them too. And it's like you just the triple hybrid with Rapid. Because Rapid's like it's a, oh my gosh, this is a double distortion team. Maybe done. Hey man, having fun. So admittedly, this was not one of my best matches. We had some incredible bottle combo setups, but given that it's Garden of Joy and these survivors brought some pretty good items and their coordination was pretty decent, it made it a little bit of an uphill battle at times. However, the advantage of our build and what allowed us to win was in fact the perks that we did, bring together. Because when you take Save the Best for Last and Rapid Brutality, this helps you get your stick in through micro pressure. You get your hit, you get the speed, you're recovering quicker, you chase, you down a survivor, and then that's where you start pulling people to you, right? That's where you start pulling people off of generators, especially when you get other health states on survivors along the way. Once you start getting multiple survivors injured, you have somebody on the hook, you have high stacks of Save the Best for Last, Rapid Brutality, Snowball potential kicks in. You can start slugging survivors and you can win through slugging. You can hook survivors, bounce to another survivor, down them, and then just as they're unhooking the first survivor, you now have your second, and they're only just getting the heal off before you return. You can then possibly chase the person who just got unhooked, especially if you consider possibly they don't have any tunnel perks, and thus win through that crazy level of momentum that otherwise would not have been possible had you not played into that, right? Or you go for the unhooker if you are concerned about the anti-tunnel, especially if it is a non-obsession. You then create the pressure from downing them, hooking them. The person who came unhooked, he has to give up the conspicuous action and or anti-tunnel and or go and not focus on generators and go to the person that you hook the second time, right? This is where everything really, really coalesces, because if that person that I was just talking about, the person who first got unhooked, doesn't do all of that, well, then that means it's got to be a different person besides the person who unhooked them, which very likely means no one's on generators. And as you're downing all of these survivors along the way and they're trying to pick up the pieces, you're surging. You're popping your surge, as what we were doing, we were getting the regression in. It doesn't have to fully take out the generator every single time, but if a single surge through passive regression and instant regression takes off 15%, that's not only the value of a pain res, but that's hell of a lot better than what it would have been without it, especially when you look at things less binary and you look at it more in a holistic sense, where once that generator is completed, it creates a dead zone of pressure on the map, which is a negative for you and a positive for the survivors. So preventing that, creating an area that they have to keep returning to, especially if that area is dangerous, that is a positive for you in both areas, right? Compared to a negative in both areas once the gen is completed. So really, really think about that when it comes to how surge helps. Because yeah, maybe the generator eventually does get done, but it's a lot different when the generator gets done when there are 4 survivors left versus when there are 3. And that is one way that it really, really helped us. And even when we were struggling a bit, like I said, because this build is about getting the hook in and then you can get the pull, play with your food helped with that. There were times, I believe, where I only had 1 stack when I chained off of Claude. I tried to disperse the survivors. I wasn't able to get a tag on the non-obsession that I saw, but I did see Claude. Rather than hit her, I took the 5% to find a different non-obsession survivor. One I had already hooked, I believe it was Dwight. Get another hook onto him much easier because we maintain our tempo. We get the first health state with play with your food. We get the second with rapid brutality and the recovery from save the best for last. And then we possibly get the regression from the surge, right? That's a wrap. The build fully pulls together. And I just really, really love how we get this regression from surge while still not having to play away from the idea behind this build, right? The heavy micro pressure. We're creating macro pressure through our micro to a better degree than we would if we didn't have surge, because even if we had another chase perk, even something like, honestly, DMS, I think by comparison, due to just how this build functions, would not be as efficient for the perk slot. Jolt is just so good. And again, we're playing on Garden of Joy, which has some benefit when it comes to the verticality of the main building. But other than that, it's just the horizontal like radius of that instant regression and not having to go kick generators. You know, we got a bunch of injuries, right? Remember how we got all those injuries? We were able to play into those injuries while still maintaining instant and passive regression because of Surge. So that was amazing. And then I believe there was a point where after we got our kill onto Dwight, going back to play with your food, I was able to just ping pong off of the pressure that I was gaining from Claude once we had her zoned into a corner. I was then able to chase Fang with 2 stacks, and then we were able to down her where she had literally 0 counterplay. So it's all of these perks are just so good. And even without much at all in the way of gen regression, if you can play to the extent of the killer's power, rather I should say specifically Clown here, then it's just so amazing. I do want to, one last thing I want to mention on, because I think we've kind of talked about everything that needs to be said here, is that when it comes to using or hitting the obsession and play with your food, we only did it at specific times. We only chose to, or I chose to hit the obsession when I either had a bunch of survivors already injured, when we were down to 3 survivors. These are situations, or also when I had high stacks of Save the Best for Last. These are situations where hitting Claude was actually good for us. Remember, she doesn't really have too much in the way of self-healing. She has botany and self-care, but that's only so much. It's decent. It's about the speed kind of a med kit, but I guarantee you she was running off into a corner to heal every time. Notice she's got distortion. And this meant that if I just hit her when I already have, say, Dwight or Fang injured, Fang had already used her syringe early, she's not using that med kit, then that was where it was good. We're only down 2 stacks. I'm getting the haste, because if you hit the obsession with play with your food, you're not losing play with your food. Like it's not as if you're not going to gain the stack unless you previously had one. You're going to get it when the chase ends. So you get the advantage of the health state. You get the advantage of play with your food. You only lose 2 stacks of save. So altogether, really good synergy between these 4 perks. You can run any add-ons that you want. I'm a little bit hard of seeing, so that's why I run Cigar Box. Otherwise, I'd be running Flask of Bleach. But yeah, I think that just about wraps everything up. I've got matches like these and more along the way. We're looking to do 5 videos a week. This was a, like I said, rather close match. Had I played better, probably a little bit different. If you're interested in learning how to play Clown better, I have a very detailed Clown guide that'll be sure to link in the description. And lastly, I stream live on Twitch during the weekdays, typically Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I'll have a link to my stream in the description as well. If you really like this video, please be sure to leave it a like and possibly a comment. It helps a lot with the engagement algorithm, which means more people get to see my educational content, which means I get to help more people. So I really appreciate that. But other than that, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see y'all next time. Later, gang.